Hi guys, welcome back to the Cozy Corner. Recently on BookTube I saw a BookTuber do a video which was 30 books they wanted to read before they turned 30, and I thought, what an amazing idea for a video. Then I very sadly realised that my 30th has been and gone. So I've gone for 35 books I want to read before I'm 35. And today I'm going to show you what those books are. Starting off, these are in no particular order by the way, I've just piled them up and whatever I pick up I'll talk about. So the first one I want to read is the collective works of Edgar Allan Poe. I've read The Raven and Murder at Rue Morgue, I think it is. So I've got a couple of editions of his works, but I think this is my favourite one. So I'm hoping to read maybe more towards spooky season, Edgar Allan Poe. Next is John Steinbeck's East of Eden. I've read Of Mice and Men. I want to read The Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden. I've heard so many good things about this book that I'm scared that I'm overhyping it in my mind. But I've been told by a couple of people that once you've read this, you're never going to find a book like it again. So I really want to know if that's true or not, but also I'm a little bit concerned that I've overhyped it and I'm going to be disappointed. And then a book that's been on my TBR for quite a while is Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. My best friend raves about this book. It's her favourite book of all time, and I want to read it to know what all the hype's about. I think I will like it. I don't know, it's a little bit creepy, but we will find out. I'm a real chicken when it comes to like scary, creepy books, but we'll see. Franz Kafka: The Trial is another book that has been on my TBR for quite a while. It's a book that I've only just purchased recently, and I'm really intrigued to read it. I've read The Metamorphosis and other stories by Franz Kafka and absolutely love that. I love his style of writing, so I'm hoping this is going to be a quick, easy read, but I'm very excited. Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. I know this is gonna be heart-wrenching. I read Beloved and that really tugged at the heartstrings. I know this is gonna be also tugging at the heartstrings, but I've heard it is her debut novel, and I've heard that it is like chef's kiss, like the audacity as somebody to write such a perfect debut novel. So I'm super excited to read this one. Truman Capote in Cold Blood is I believe it's a true crime where Truman Capote goes to jail to interview two murderers who have murdered a Kansas farmer. I believe he's a Kansas farmer, his wife and his children, back in 1958 or 59, and he befriends these murderers through interviews and gets their story and what actually happened that night. I'm very intrigued. It's a case that I've seen a couple of documentaries on and I've read about, but both the documentaries I saw said different things about the case, and in theory these words are from the horse's mouth, so see if it matches any of the documentaries I've seen about it. The Kite Runner. This has been on my bookshelf for such a long time that I needed to put it on 35 before 35, because otherwise it's just going to keep sitting there. And again, I know it's going to be an emotional read, which is probably why I keep putting it off, but I just need to put big pants on and get on with it. The Phantom of the Opera. I am so excited to read this book. I am beyond excited to read this book. So many books, so little time is what I'm finding. I mean, need I say any more? The Phantom of the Opera. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is another one that's been in my TBR for probably about a decade now. I don't know too much about it. Like, I've purposely avoided videos that talk about this book because I want to go in half blind. I know it's set in like a mental asylum type place, but apart from that I don't know very much. I believe the main character is actually sane. I can't remember if the main character is sane but they act as if they're insane, or vice versa. They're insane but they're trying to act as if they're sane. But I don't actually want to know too much about this before I read it. I feel it spoils books if you know too much about them before you dive into them. So I'm very excited to read this one. If We Were Villains. Don't really know what to say. Dark Academia. Didn't want something as intimidating as Donna Tartt, so I was recommended this one. Read the blurb, bit of a murder mystery. I thought I'd give it a whack. I do love a good murder mystery. Slaughterhouse 5. Another book I'm going into blind. The only thing I know is it is about a prisoner of war. Nothing else left to say on that. Joan Didion is a book that's very recently entered my 35 for 35. I knew I wanted to read a Joan Didion. I didn't know which one, but I found this one, which is called The Year of Magical Thinking, which is about giving life meaning, even through the downs of life. So that is going to be my first Joan Didion, and hopefully I'm going to like it because there are other books that a lot of booktubers recommend that I would like to read. Virginia Woolf, Jacob's Room. I'm hoping it's going to be as good as A Room of One's Own and Orlando, because those are my two favourite Virginia Woolfs. I wasn't keen on Miss Dalloway, and I wasn't keen on To the Lighthouse, was the other one that I read. But I'm hoping I'll like this one. Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre's just been following me around for far too long. I turn around and boom, there she is. So I just need to get her off my TBR. I don't know why I keep putting this off. I think because people I've spoken to about this have really hyped it up, and a bit like a few other books, I'm scared that in my mind I've hyped it up too much and I'm going to be disappointed. But I won't know until I've read it, so just need to get on with it really, don't I? Ian McEwan's Atonement. I've purchased this in the past 4 months maybe. I don't know very much about it. It's stiff as a brick. Like, it got no fluff at all. Which is why I don't think I've picked it up, because it's just build a house with that. Yeah, I don't know very much about it, and I'm happy going into that one blind. I know it's sad. I know it's really sad. That's the only thing I know about it. The next two are Dostoevsky's. So I've read The Brothers Karamazov, loved that, absolutely loved that, and I've read Crime and Punishment. It was okay. It was good, but it wasn't Brothers Karamazov. I feel that's probably going to be the masterpiece. But I want to read Devils and The Idiot. I don't know much about these at all. I do definitely like to go into Dostoevsky blind, because he speaks about such deep philosophical subjects and brings up all sorts of feelings, and I honestly think he's a literary genius. I've got a few other Dostoevskys I want to read as well. The House of the Dead, Notes from the Underground, and White Nights are also, I didn't include them on this list, but are also high up on my TBR. The next one is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now, I'm trying to remember if I read this in Spanish at any point during my education in Spain. And I think it's a book that we did in Spanish literature where we took snippets out and studied those snippets. So I don't think I've read the whole thing. It is a big boy, but the writing is also quite big. he's, again, not got the flop factor, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm quite intrigued to read this. It's one of those books that if I could find it in Spanish, I would probably read it in Spanish, just because it makes more sense to me to read a Spanish author in Spanish. But I couldn't find it in Spanish, got it in English. I'm sure it will still make sense. Next up is my biggest book, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo. The writing is pretty darn small in here, like, gonna need a magnifying glass, but that's okay. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this. I can't wait to read it. People have said that it's life-changing. It makes you think about life in a totally different way, and I'm all for that. I'm all for reading things that are eye-opening. But yeah, complete and unabridged. You don't say. She's a chunkster. She is really chunkster, but I'm very much looking forward to that. Then I have The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I've seen the movie. Man, these books have no flop at all. Saw the movie when I was in my early teens. It scared the heck out of me. The guy in the... Oh God, what was his name? There's a really creepy guy in there, and it just terrified me. But I want to read the book. I've never read Dan Brown before, but I am really into Da Vinci's art, so I thought I'd give it a go. It's lovely big writing, and it looks like they're quite short chapters as well. Yeah, I love a book that is short chaptered. I don't care if it's got like hundreds of chapters, I love a short chapter. Next I have Francesc Torralba, El valor dels nívolos. Now this is one in Catalan, and the literal translation is the value of having values. And it's a bit of a self-help book, and my friend got me this in 2013, and I think at the time I was a little bit too, I don't want to say too young, because I was an adult, young adult. But I don't think I'd have enough life experiences, whereas now, 13 years later, it's like the value of having values when everything goes wrong, the value of crying, the value of laughing, the value of loving somebody when they're no longer around. There's all these different chapters about different stages through life. So I really want to read that. And it's also good for helping keeping up with my Catalan skills. Right, the next set of books is a series, and that is The Seven Chronicles of Narnia. I've read The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but I want to give it a new reread. But then I want to read the rest of them as well to see how it ends, because I've only watched the first movie, haven't watched any of the other movies either. So that's my next 7 books. And then the next ones, my next 6, are also a series, and they are the Alison Weir 6 Tudor Queens. So you have Catherine of Aragon, she's the chunkiest one out of the lot. Then you have Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anna Cleese, who's probably my favourite of Henry VIII's wives, of what I know about them, Catherine Howard, and oh my gosh, the tower's going to fall over, and then Catherine Parr. Oh, she's a lot floppier than the rest of them. Nice. So that's my next 6, and then my last book to read, 35 before I turn 35, is the Bible. I've read the majority of the New Testament. I have like maybe, I think Chronicles 1 definitely. Revelation. Wait, is it Chronicles or is it Corinthians? It might be Corinthians. And then out of the Old Testament, I've only read the Psalms, Song of Solomon, and then a couple of the shorter books towards the end of the Old Testament. So I'd like to be able to complete the ones that I haven't read. That is a lot. So there we have it. That is my list of 35 before I turn 35. Will I do it? Potentially. Maybe I'll film this video after I turn 35 and review and see what I actually did manage to get read. Yeah, and if I get that completed, maybe I'll give myself 40 books before I turn 40. Who knows? I thought it'd be a fun little challenge just to get a load of books off my TBR as well in a certain time frame, as well as the TBR jar and the challenges. But I just thought it was a quirky little challenge that I saw that I really liked. And let me know in the comments below if there are any books that you want to read before you turn a certain age. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!